in the paper.
A good class for a Monday.
I know, I did, yeah.
We are going after government money.
It's going in, but it's a rust.
I'm the
Ladies
cameraman.
and gentlemen, let me exercise my lungs.
Exercise.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us call to order. Welcome to Port Jefferson Civic Association. We are a voluntary organization run entirely by volunteers, made up of residents of
Port Jefferson.
Port Jefferson Fire Department, Port Jefferson School District, any of those municipalities, municipal district are eligible to become members. Membership dues are $20 per year, and in order to be a voting member, you need to pay your dues and attend at least 3 meetings a year. We had a small break for winter. There were too many bugs going around, flu and COVID and everything else. We are glad to see you all here healthy and well. We will have a few updates from our board members, the things that we've been working on, because we were not having a break despite the fact that we were not having meetings. I don't see our liaison to the school. He's not here today. One of the bigger issues that we as a board worked on was the development of the battery-powered battery storage.
Battery energy storage system.
BESS, otherwise known as BESS. We've been advocating that the town of Brookhaven establishes a, Kathleen?
Why don't I take that one?
Take it away, Kathleen.
We have been aligning with our fellow civics, Three Village and Port Jeff Station in Terryville. And Anna and I have been meeting with them, and we feel there's just more strength in numbers. And we know we have lots of development happening around us. Some of it very welcome, we know we need it. And some of it, and those we want more say in. You know, we don't want 4-story monstrosities if it can be helped, we just want more say. And others that just don't belong here. So we're just trying to have more of a say in all of that. And one of the big issues that we decided to tackle first was the battery storage facilities. And given there was a big contentious meeting at the Three Village Civic, like last November, December, and we thought they were moving too fast, and they were certainly more residential areas than we would want. So we're asking, we've written a letter, we just sent it this morning to the town from the civics. We got 13 other civics to join us, and the superintendents of our local schools have signed on to the letter. We're asking not for a moratorium, which gets a knee-jerk response and it gets thrown in the garbage, but a pause to set up a BESS task force. New York State had put out guidelines for such a task force. Southampton Township has had a great success with one they've recently started, so we don't have to invent the wheel. We can just, sort of follow along with what they've done and add our own personal touches. But that's what we're requesting from the town, and I think we have a good shot, because in a recent Newsday article, the supervisor said that he wasn't going to greenlight any more facilities until the state came down with more fire codes and fire regulations, so that it'd be safer. So we have a breathing moment. I know Assemblywoman Casey got her letter out last week, and we had a meeting with her, and ours was ready to go, so we felt the timing was just perfect. So we got ours out this morning, and we'll keep you posted on it.
Thank you, Kathleen.
That was Kathleen, our communications officer. Marilyn, our treasurer. A report from there.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for attending. We appreciate your presence. Right now, we are looking for our members that need to pay their dues to please do so. As Anna had already said, membership for voting pay your dues and attend the 3 meetings, and be a resident, of course. So we appreciate all that you're doing for us, and for yourselves as residents. Right now, we do have a balance of $1,633.44 in our coffers, and we are looking to update our email list as well, making sure that every member hears about our meetings and if they have any questions. So please don't hesitate to ask. We're here for you, okay? Thank you.
The other update that we are having is that we're trying to ramp up our committee. We're trying to subdivide some of their work. And one of the areas that requires quite a lot of attention is the quality of life issues. So that's light pollution, noise pollution, and the walkability issues. We have been working with, Janice, would you like to give an update on the walkability issues?
Yes, thank you. Thanks everybody for being here. We have been taking steps from the small working group that we have with Marilyn, myself, Bob, and Michael Schwarting. We're now working with the Public Safety Advisory Council. And we are going to be sending our recommendation that the village is going to do the next step that came from the engineering study, the Haydick Engineering Study 2023, with the next step for that is a demonstration project. My understanding is the municipality needs to go through these steps and demonstrate with I guess I look at it as a simple project, so a couple of the roads that may not feel unsafe, but could use improvement. All the roads could use improvement, and then move on to the roadways that are less safe and need more expensive and a lot more resources to make safer. So that's where we're at with that. Do you want me to go ahead with treatment?
I think Holly would like to give an update.
I left these divining brochures out. Our village is involved with the tree committee. We are promoting divining of the English ivy that you see crawling up, and when it gets up to the high branches can kill the trees. They suffocate the trees. So you can talk to me, you can talk to Bob Larrabee. We like to help people if it's their private property and they don't know what to do. We'd like to help you. You might see us around the village, and the village, they're starting to do the divining on village property as well.
And that was Janice, our recorded secretary.
So grab some of these, they're here for
Are you
you.
ready? I'm Holly Fizeme. I'm on the tree committee, and I see my beloved friends, Chuck, and Bob, see ya, Janice. Okay, so we're working really hard on getting people aware of the wonderful tree canopy that surrounds us. We have a very large tree canopy for a village of our size. We're going to be having an Arbor Day celebration, our second, because we want to be Tree City USA. We've actually been approved, I think, already, right? We have the flag anyway.
We have been awarded, and we will be celebrating on April 23rd, that we are a Tree City USA.
Another thing that we're doing to continue the Tree City USA is that this year, starting on Arbor Day, April 23rd, we're going to be doing for a year, like a summer and a whole school year, so the 2 semesters, we're going to be having a year of the tree. And what that means is that we want to pull everybody in, whoever wants to join in, any clubs, churches, hopefully the business community. We've already talked to the library, which is going to have a speaker series for us on trees, how to take care of them, what they do for us. We know they do a lot more than just shade. They hold the soil, countering erosion, which is something we obviously need in Port Jefferson.
they pull the water down into the aquifer, and so on. The list goes on and on and on. So we're doing with the library, the children's room is already working on decorations. We're gonna have book displays, library speaker series. Then we've already talked to the 3 schools. I talked to the 2 superintendents and the principals about including at least two assignments in every single class of the whole school system for next year, which is gonna be Year of the Tree. We can do some stuff over the summer. I'm thinking of something in the 4th of July parade. The tree committee wears costumes. Yay. As trees or whatever. Are you ready? So we're pulling the 3 schools together. I'm talking to the principals, and we're going to talk about what to do for, an advanced kind of project for the upperclassmen and middle school. Everybody, we can do field trips. We can do all kinds of things. If anybody has ideas about that. I also want to do maybe an oldest tree in Port Jefferson contest, like circumference of the biggest trees. I have 3 experts who can tell us how old the trees are, maybe do timelines.
That is the tree committee.
That's a tree committee, yes. But
That's a
the Civic
plug-in for the tree committee.
The Civic Association hopefully will be backing all of these events. So anybody who wants to get involved in that, speak to me or one of our other members here. Thank you, Barbara.
Have you made plans for how you're going to be celebrating Arbor Day this year yet?
Yes.
Yes, you have made plans.
Yes.
Are you planning a tree?
Yes.
Historically, the Sawasset Garden Club
Mhm.
has always done planted trees. All the trees along the brick walkway behind Village Hall, those cherries
Yes.
have been planted by the Sawasset Garden Club. So it might be nice to collaborate or do at least a
Sure.
reach out to the president, because they normally do some kind of a tree planting, and a lot of those trees have been dedicated with
Yes. I know
from the
they
garden
talked about
club.
that last time.
So
Yeah, I'll tell Avril that you want to get in touch with
Oh.
her. Avril
Avril
Coakley
Coakley
is
is
now the
our
chairperson.
I'm not part
Co-chairperson.
of the garden club any longer, past president, but I'm not part of it. I'm suggesting.
Okay,
that we
having her
reach out.
talk
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the garden club.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you.
We could develop a little brochure. I walk around and I see these vines growing up trees. And I'd love to have a little brochure that I could leave at the doorstep that explains all of it. But does it explain to them that they have them on their property and they should really pay attention to them? Maybe I should look at what it says first.
Yeah, it basically
But
tells them what to do.
I feel like taking a saw and doing it myself, but.
You can.
On other persons.
Not at all.
Janice,
You know,
go
I
with
did
me,
it.
I'll let her do anything.
I saw it too at the club. I saw, and the arborists were there, and I said, could you cut down those vines? And they came, oh, sure. They cut down one, but not the other, so I came back with a saw and cut down the other. But there are so many trees that are being destroyed.
Yes.
So does this explain to?
Yes.
I can just put it at their doorstep and.
We're talking about the same exact thing.
Yeah,
Hanging these on people's doors.
Hang them on the door.
Yeah.
And, but a little thing, we've noticed that you have.
That's a good
You
idea.
know what I mean?
The problem is this is going on reprint. The pictures of vines that are healthy it's not what we had to correct, so,
Yeah, no, but I mean, it might be nice if right on the front it says something like, we have noticed that you have growing on your tree 2 vines that are killing these beautiful trees. And then go into the brochure, because,
We can put a
you
little
know,
note.
you can't always get to them and not, you know.
a handwritten note, each notice,
Okay,
yes.
so I'll write my own. Good.
Wonderful.
Thank
Gail?
I have a question. Are some of these vines poison ivy? That
Yes.
could be- So you gotta be careful if
Yes,
you're allergic.
and that's in the brochure,
Oh, is it?
yes.
Cause it looks like
I'm
they're growing
learning
up
how to
big-
identify that, because they do often grow together.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Yep.
All right, so you'd have to, if you're highly allergic, you need to hire somebody. Or do you guys do it for donation? Is that something you would think about?
We do it for nothing.
Yeah, okay. Okay, maybe I'll try it.
We do it because we wanna save the tree.
Yeah, got it on a couple of trees, but since they was told it could be poison ivy, I don't feel like that.
There also could be a Virginia creeper, which is a native plant as well.
That's true.
So there are tons of them. Would you look at that? So that's part of what we've been doing. A little bit of a plug-in from the tree committee. I am joining it. We wanted to hear from our members. Any updates or questions that you want to give? Any specific things that you might want to raise?
Happy to do it.
Please.
For those of you who don't already know me, I'm Zena Ugrinsky, trustee of the Village of Port Jeff. I'm also the Commissioner of Finance, as well as chairing the Power Plant Working Group. I'll just start with the Power Plant Working Group first. So that was established about just over a year ago, to ensure that Port Jeff has a seat at the table as choices are being made around what happens with our power plant, right? We don't want it to happen to us. We want a seat at the table. Why is that important? Because the utility industry is going through all of this change right now, and decisions are being made in various pockets, right? So you were talking about BESS, okay? Well, people are pretty much up in arms around, where they want to site these things. Near residential, near schools. My question to them has been, how about instead of NIMBY, we go for a YIMBY, like yes in my backyard? Why? How about using the power plant itself as a potential site? It's already incredibly safe, right? I know the utility industry. There's no safer place to put it, okay? The Port Jeff Power Plant is likely in the future, it's on the roadmap, but we all know how roadmaps are. Might happen, might not, but right now, we're on the roadmap for having potentially hydrogen fuel cells there. Now, I think it might be important to share with you that I have toured multiple hydrogen fuel cell locations at this point. Why am I not worried about them? Because they're not going to go on fire like a battery structure, because it doesn't generate any heat. It's a chemical process that if you shut the natural gas off, everything stops. There's no fire, right? So right now, that to me is a pretty safe, let's say, target that we're doing. But to go back, why are batteries important? Because we have, today, for example, Canada said they are now going to tariff the electricity coming to us from Hydro-Quebec, okay? So New York, Michigan, all of those states are now gonna pay higher electricity costs because Canada's hitting us because we're hitting them. So why are batteries important? We are going to have to increase our reliance on things like wind energy. We have 2 functioning wind farms that are generating energy, but for those of us who are marine people, sailors, we know that in August, the wind sometimes does not blow, right? Summer doldrums. So what we need is when that wind turns off, we need an immediate way to turn that back on. That's where battery is really important to help us normalize that supply curve, okay? So what else have we been doing? We are generating awareness. I have been going up to Albany. I'm meeting with assembly people. I'm meeting with the, what are they called? The energy committee in the assembly. I've met with several of them already. I am just going around making sure that people are aware of what we have here and its importance to the energy future of Long Island and New York State. So just sort of an update on that. Was there anything, Kathleen, did I miss anything? Okay. Hey,
Nuclear energy.
What about?
Have you considered nuclear?
You know, it is
I know it's a bad
early.
word.
It's early days right now. I would prefer that miniature nuclear happen somewhere else. Like, I don't want to be the guinea pig, right?
I agree, but we
it's
have a power plant
happening.
area.
Yeah.
And it is happening. And,
Absolutely.
you know, it's much more reliable than wind. or
Absolutely.
solar.
My preference is only to ease into, like we're
But I think we
doing
should
that.
put it as a third possibility.
Absolutely, yeah. So, you know, the goal really has always been of the power plant working group to ensure that we are in the middle of the conversation, that the people who are making these decisions for us know about Port Jefferson, and that we have a voice. So that's, okay.
How do they generate the hydrogen?
Pardon?
That's
How
a
do
whole-
they generate the hydrogen?
That's another
let's-
conversation.
That's a
That's
whole
conversation.
different
That's
conversation.
Interrupted this
I mean,
one.
there could be 5 different ways at this point. We don't know which one of those is gonna happen. The
Thank you.
pilot is in Northport, happening now.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
Any other updates or
Thank you.
questions from the members? Barbara?
Just for fun, changing the subject altogether, April 12th is the 15th annual Health and Wellness Fest at the Meadow Club. It's very well attended. It's sponsored by your 3 major hospitals in the area. There's gonna be food courts with healthy eating from St. Charles Hospital. We probably will have 90 tables of a vast range of all types of health and wellness services. There'll be free screenings, including skin cancer, glucose, blood pressure. There'll be people there giving demonstrations on kickboxing. Of course, that's a healthy activity. So it's a lot. So if you want to join us, it's from 9 to 1. It's free. So please join us. We are going to make sure that parking is safe and adequate. That's number 1. Number 2, we've changed the Easter parade around this year a lot. Typically in the last, 20 years, we've had the Easter parade on Sunday, Easter Sunday. We're thinking that maybe we'd like to do it on Saturday. So it's been approved for the 19th of April. Again, partnering up with Theater 3 and their Peter Rabbit show. They'll come out and will join us in the parade if they choose to. And then, of course, EB will be down at the harbor for photo ops, and we all know who EB, right, is?
Yeah.
So, yes, and at 2 o'clock, we're going to be doing a dessert crawl. This will be our last crawl for the season right now. So people trying to create more foot traffic in the village. That's not requiring a lot of cars and parking and letting people roll around. And also to see how the difference between having it on Easter Sunday and then on Saturday. In the past, I would say 75% of the people that would come down for the parade were not local. And a lot of people of different ethnic backgrounds that don't necessarily even celebrate Easter, but they're looking for an activity.
We're gonna do something.
Oh, well, right. That's a good point. They have to do something. So they come down and we have a Easter hunt. Last year we had, I don't know, 3,000, 4,000 eggs out on the Great Lawn, and we recycle them now, trying to get them back as many so we don't have to buy more. And they're empty, by the way. The damn eggs are empty. So you would think I'm giving away gold, but we're not. And years ago, when it was much smaller, when we used to have in front of Village Hall, and it was a much more smaller thing, I would pay a company that works with disabled youngsters to fill them with a Mary Jane candy or something, but never chocolate or something like that. But you know what? It gets to be so competitive. Again, they think that they're getting money in all these eggs, but yes, they're not. They're empty eggs. And last year, 2 containers like this, we were able to recycle that many back. So it's just the fun of it. So those are some announcements. Thank you.
Any other updates, questions?
When was the Easter crawl? The dessert crawl.
The dessert crawl?
That Saturday?
Yeah, the dessert crawl is on that Saturday from 2 to 4:30. And right now I have 10 so far. I'll probably finish at 12, but I have 10 participating restaurants. Some that might not do the mac and cheese or the chowder crawl. They're like Kelwin's is going to be involved. Excuse me, the Frigate, etc.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
It's the 19th, it's
It's
Easter.
Saturday
So it's,
before.
Holy Saturday.
Alrighty. Every one of our meetings, we try to bring an informative speaker, someone who would be able to help us to eliminate some of the issues that we are facing in the village. In the last 6 months, we had quite an interesting upheaval with our code enforcement, with our code officers. And at the moment, we have a new head of the code. Mr. Cooper, Kevin Cooper, is here to tell us about all of the new things. Please welcome.
Hi, everybody. Some of you I've seen at other meetings already, so nice to meet everybody. I guess not everybody knows about my background. I'll let you know. I spent 32 years with the New York City Transit Police and then the NYPD. The last 19 as a sergeant. I stayed pretty much in the subways my whole career. 2020 I retired. 2021 I took a job with East Hampton Code Enforcement. I ran their code enforcement for almost 4 years. And I left there in February to come here. And everybody's been great, from the trustees, all the employees at the village, and the residents have been welcoming me with open arms. So I just want to say thank you for that. We talk about what we do.
Tell us about what you do, because
Let me
we
give up
have
my
a
card
different
for
vision
it.
for what the code
Take one,
is,
pass it
what
on.
it should be.
Sure.
But please tell us, what's your vision of how
Yeah,
it should
so
work?
code enforcement is basically, our job is to enforce the village and town codes, some New York State codes, fire codes, building codes, residential codes, and also to enforce quality of life violations that are in the village code. And that also includes parking. That's in the village code. So that's our main function. So whether it be someone building without a permit, someone building beyond what they're supposed to be doing with a permit, someone cutting down trees, property maintenance from cars on lots that are unregistered, grass too high, lighting, noise, we do all of that. And then on the weekends, we try to concentrate on some quality of life stuff on Main Street with the licensed establishments, urinating, littering, open containers, those kind of things. I've been here, I guess 5 weeks now, and I'm trying to get my people, the people that stayed, to concentrate on being visible, not being in other parts of the village, parked. If they're gonna be around, be visible in the main parts of the village. I created an online complaint form that's on the code enforcement webpage on the village site. So if you go on the village webpage and go hit code enforcement under departments, you'll see a mission statement. That mission statement's about to change, but then you'll see our complaint form. You can fill it in. You don't have to identify yourself. You can be anonymous. It's not a problem. I just will be able to update you on the progress of the investigation. Today I had one. It was anonymous. There was a car, the complaint was a car continuously parking every day, the same location. We got it right away. I was able to send one of my officers out, and he ticketed the car. So that's how that's supposed to work. You can also just email, if you want to shoot an email to, it's code@portchef.com. You can email me, my email's on the cards, or you can call the code phone number. All right, that's out on the website. So there's multiple ways to contact me and my people to get your complaint. If you think it's a violation or a complaint, some kind of nuisance, there's multiple ways to contact me. So I'm always available. I'm always looking at my emails. My people right now, they're working till 10 o'clock Sunday through Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they're on till midnight. I just expanded the tours. They were starting at 10 a.m. I just expanded them to 8 a.m. If they're available to come in. I have all part-timers. So when they could work, they come in. I just started 8 o'clock, and it seems pretty favorable. I got all the 8 o'clock hours filled for most of the days for the next 3 weeks.
So the hours from 8 until 10? And
8 till 10,
weekends?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it'll be 8 a.m. till midnight if the people are available. Yes.
So in case we have, one of the issues that are dear to our association is the tree clearing.
Yeah.
without the permit, so we
Yeah.
are able to call and
Yeah,
ask.
please,
to
if
come in.
with clearing, call me when it's happening, don't call me like after, well, I don't know if they're supposed to, because once it's done, it's done. So call me while it's going on. We had a complaint the other day, a lady called, town hall, they gave me a number, I called them right back. They were topping trees along, Crystal Brook. So we went over there and they weren't cutting them down, they were topping them, but they were starting to get close to the village right of way, which is, you can't touch anything on the village right of way. So we stopped them from doing that. So, you know, with the clearing, it used to happen, East Hampton is very big with trees, like a lot of you are, very big with the environmental stuff, and I used to tell them, call me while it's happening, as soon as it's happening, so I can get out there and stop it, you know?
So one of the other issues is that sometimes people dump garbage
Yep.
in front of their home before it's actually time for it to be picked up. Is that still the code enforcement?
I'm not
violation?
sure, I have to look, I'm still learning the code out here. I'm not sure how long before garbage pickup you're allowed to put your garbage out. I will check that out. But if you think it's an issue, you think it's a violation, call me and I'll check it out. You know, I'll look in the book, I'll send somebody out and we'll straighten it out.
Kevin mentioned where your new offices are.
Oh yes, we just moved. We were in Village Hall, we now moved to 88 North Country Road where the Highway Department is, DPW. So we moved over there, you can come right in, there's someone there till about 3 o'clock most days. I'll have complaint forms there, you can also write, you know, I have them on paper, if you wanna write it in. Those complaint forms will also be at Village Hall. So you can come in and write it, and if I'm not there, they'll leave it on my desk and I'll get it answered out.
All right.
You know, code is all about, it's about education and compliance, not about writing tickets. So we're not here to write tickets for, you know, building, zoning, stuff like that. You know, it's about educating people on what they can and cannot do on their properties, you know. And if we can stop something from happening and educate the homeowner, you know, before a violation happens, you know, that's what we're all about.
Kevin, could you just tell the group, give them a specific example where in the past, one would think they might have called code, but now that wouldn't be the case, for like criminal mischief. That's a Suffolk County versus it's not code, that is something different, so maybe you could tell.
Yeah, if it's a crime, a misdemeanor, a felony, we can't respond. And I mean, if you want us to respond and then call the police, we could do that. But if you see a crime happening, call 911 first. I mean, if I only have one officer working and they're at the other end of the village and you wait for them to come, you know, the crime could happen, the person who's committing the crime could be in the wind. So if it's a crime, you need to call 911, okay?
Yes, we would call out the tree committee that, the code, cutting the trees, people
Well-
doing something, should we call 311? Or we told them to call 311?
If someone's cutting down more than 2 trees, that's a code, that's a violation of village code.
So what, we call this number here? Or we
Also
call
6 inches in
That,
diameter.
yeah, you could call the bottom number, that other one was my cell, you can email me.
Okay.
And I'm always on, you know, emailing me is like sending me a text. I'm always on my phone and I'll see it, I'll send somebody out. Or you can do the online complaint form, come in and write the complaint, or code@portchef.com, it's the new email. All right?
Alrighty,
Kevin,
Yeah.
there is barely a time that I come down the hill on East Broadway that someone is not making a U-turn to get into the ferry. And I am tired of it, and we're not doing anything about it. And we have to put up more markers so that they can't cross there. But I'm wondering if code enforcement can not just park there when a ferry is leaving at those times and put their car there rather than somewhere else in the village, so that people are dissuaded from crossing the wrong way.
Yeah, I could look into that. I could also talk to the Public Safety Advisory Council about that, and I could work with the ferry people.
I saw an accident happen there just because somebody was making a U-turn.
Yeah, we can't enforce, if somebody makes an illegal U-turn, we can't enforce that.
I know, but if you're there, maybe they'll think that they will,
Yeah,
they should
think
make
twice
the
about
U-turn.
it. Yeah, I could put that out, you know, park when the
There
ferry.
might be a place that you could
Right.
just sit for 20 minutes.
Yeah. When the
Instead
ferry
of
leaves.
somewhere else in the village.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we
Thank
can
you.
look into it.
Can you tell me what the current staffing levels is compared to what it was before the restructure?
Apparently, when I came in, it was 31 people. I'm now down to 29. I'm not sure what it was at full strength. I think, you know, it had to be more than that
It
because
was
some
like
people resigned
36.
apparently, yeah.
It was
Maybe it was about
36,
36 or
37.
something.
Yeah.
But they're all part-timers, yeah.
And you're in the process of hiring more?
Yeah, we put a position vacancy out, I have applications, and I will be doing interviews and hiring. I have one full-time person, and all he does is the building and the zoning stuff. So that's what he concentrates on, is some parking, yeah.
For Sue?
Me?
Yes.
Okay. Is that description of these codes in different categories, are they on the, online where the public can view the descriptions of the codes?
Yeah, when my new mission statement, when I can hopefully get that out in the next couple of days, you'll see, there'll be like a fact statement, and you'll see what you can call us about, and we'll call the PD about, yeah.
No,
Also, Port
no, no.
Jefferson
Well, I
has
can,
all
well,
of
I
the-
can view, I can look at the code before I call you.
Oh,
Before I got some
the
description.
Port Jeff Village Code is on the Port Jeff website. Just on the search engine, just put Village Code and it'll pop up. I have it downloaded on my phone. You know, yeah, it's right there. You can look, and then once you get into the code, you can put windows or signs, and it'll give you the whole code for signs. You can read it. Yep.
All your officers, are they carrying?
No more firearms.
No more firearms?
No more firearms. It's outside of the code enforcement officer's civil service title. Yeah.
Are you gonna differentiate between ATOs and regular code enforcement officers?
No, everybody's code enforcement.
Everyone's code enforcement,
Yep.
so they're all.
There'll
gonna
be some senior code enforcement officers, but they're just code enforcement officers, senior code enforcement officers, yeah.
I know you just got started, but did the village brief you on the car collection at Willis?
Yes, I'm aware of that condition, yes, it's being investigated.
What did they tell you?
Amy, yes, that's his name.
They're working on it, we're working on it with the village attorney, yes,
Oh.
yeah.
Again,
We're well
again.
aware of it.
Again, and again,
Yeah.
and still, and we may, decades now.
Can you repeat that, please? What was the question?
The
Bob?
car collection at Willis. There's a car collection on the upper part of Willis.
Yes.
That's being very kind.
Yeah, that's being very kind,
Yeah.
car collection. Collection of cars.
What's the current code on cannabis smoking? It's illegal on village property or not?
I don't think it's illegal on smoking, what do you mean on village property, parks, beaches?
Yeah, stuff like that, you know.
I don't think it's
Can
illegal.
you consume cannabis?
Yeah.
Like you can't consume alcohol on village property.
Right.
What about cannabis?
Okay.
Not on
It's
park,
a no
not
smoking
parkland.
zone,
smoking,
it doesn't
no
matter
smoking,
what you're
no smoking.
smoking.
Right.
No smoking. Golf
So the
course.
village has a no smoking zone?
No, any, like the park
Parklands.
or
Right, well, no
the
matter what.
village hall or any village property.
The beaches.
Beaches.
Oh, can't smoke
Playgrounds.
pot on the beach.
Yeah,
So there's no smoking on the village property, that's the code? As far as you know?
That's what beaches were for.
Is there any
Counting on
sign?
that contract.
Yes, there is
Yes.
sign down the front of those big signs that say
Yes.
no
No.
marijuana and no drugs.
And no smoking?
Yeah.
Okay. Please, Brenda.
Of the 33 code enforcement officers that are now employed, how many are women?
3.
Okay, and are
Three.
you reaching out to possibility of hiring more women? And what would the qualifications be, and how are you reaching out to more
For
women?
code enforcement officer, you just need a high school diploma. And we are reaching out to my partner Anthony, who couldn't make it tonight. He's reaching out to Suffolk Community College. It's also out on, it should be out on Indeed.com.
Could there be certain organizations that you might want to reach out to?
If you give me the name of the organization, I will send them the position vacancy, sure.
With the job descriptions and so on?
Sure, of course, yep,
Okay, we need more.
yep.
Is there a reason why we don't have 24-hour code enforcement? I mean, all the activities after midnight, all the
Like-
ruckus, all the,
Tell me something after midnight.
after midnight, okay, so we've had issues with many fishermen coming from all over the place, including the city, to fish on East Beach. I live right above East Beach.
Okay.
Okay, so it was a big issue for the past couple of years, and then there's finally a no fishing sign by the rocks. But the fishermen come 5 o'clock in the morning.
Are you talking about people that throw poles in the water or people that are looking for squid? like that kind of.
I don't know what they're doing,
Yeah,
but
she's talking about-
dozens and
Yeah.
dozens and dozens of people
That might be a
coming.
question for Marine Patrol or Harbor to enforce. I could reach out to them and let them know.
It's been a
About
big
it.
issue. They've been parking in our neighborhood. We have no parking signs.
How early? 4 or 5 in the morning? Or
Yes, 4 or 5 in the morning. It must be a certain tide, but when they come, there's dozens and dozens and dozens of people coming to fish. And when they were giving them tickets, I spoke to them and they said, oh, this person's from Queens, this person's from
They're coming-
Flushing,
they're
this
coming from the
person's
Square.
from.
They're coming from the Square. We had this same problem in East Hampton. Yeah.
Well, this needs to stop.
Yeah, that's
But when
something
there's
that was
nobody in
a-
code enforcement, what do I do? The police aren't gonna come take a look
Yeah,
at that.
out east, the Marine Patrol covers that, and they were issuing tickets.
We need to enforce it. We
But
have
the
the
parking,
signs.
I could see if people are available to come in that early, it's just kinda not feasible at this point. Is it all year round, or?
No, not in the winter time.
Not in the winter?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
no,
not-
it starts, they must have a fishing season and certain days.
Yeah,
I
I
mean-
could look into it and see
Yeah,
if anybody,
thank you.
people might wanna come in early and just at least the parking when they park, you know, we
Yes.
can give them tickets.
Yeah,
Do
we
it on a few times and bang them.
couple times, yeah.
Do it a couple
Do it a
times
couple
and bang
times,
them
it
with
might
tickets and
get the word out.
be done with it.
That might be something you might, wanna bring up to, Brookhaven Town, cause they have the Marine Patrol that covers,
Okay.
the area, if you wanna go to one of their meetings and bring that up.
By the way, the new Marine Bureau is gonna be in the new ferry building right next to Chamber
Yeah.
of Commerce office. They're gonna
So,
have
yeah.
an office there.
You wanna
So-
go knock on their door and let them know?
I know.
Okay, yeah, that's what it is, it's SWIFT.
Any other questions?
I just want to add one thing just for the residents to know. First of all, you know, I am thrilled that Kevin is here because he is, at this point, the one throat to choke. And what's been amazing for me is that I make one phone call and it's now a funnel, right?
We're limited in that now.
Hang on, what? Oh, I'm sorry, you guys don't know that?
But I like it, I'm gonna
This is
lose that.
corporate speak, okay? Let me say it another way. You have
He's in
one
charge.
number to call, okay?
One-stop
number,
shopping.
And he will funnel whatever it is to the right people. He's been incredibly responsive. And for me, as a trustee, it is a change, and there are a couple of aspects to that change. One is we now have a better communication method with our code. The second change is we no longer have code that is deciding for themselves what the village needs them to do, okay? Thirdly, Kevin and Anthony are creating some real clarity around when do I call the police? When do I call code, right? Super important. That was always kind of a nebulous boundary. And these guys are clarifying that for us. So it's going to, you will know who to call. And I encourage you to read the village code if you are having trouble sleeping, because, you know, always good to
Just to add to
know.
that, the Public Safety Committee, they're coming up with cards, when to call code, and
Magnets,
that's on-
right?
What?
Gonna be magnets, I
They were talking about that, I don't know about that, but they are coming out with cards, that's gonna be handed out to the businesses and as many residents as we can get them to, so to just, on Zena's point, just to clarify that.
Kevin, on the cards, on CARS cards, the number that's printed on them is
That's a
not-
good number.
But it's not this number.
No, the problem
So maybe
with-
you should tell people that number.
744-0066,
Right.
comes to one, right?
0066,
That,
that's
the
what's
problem
on
with
the
that
card.
is that goes to a phone that's in one of the code cards. So if my people aren't working, you're gonna call and get a message. So that's
Still
why I
another
created,
number.
that's why I created the online complaint form, the code at portchef.com email, and, you know, you come in and just write your complaint, that's why I created the other ways.
Yes, but
to
you
go
need
over it.
you need to get to someone right away, and you know what happened.
Right away, you could go online complaint form.
No. I got a situation happening right now. I want response immediately.
Yeah, you could call me, email me, or text me. Yep.
All right.
And just to clarify, it's 77400.
Sorry, 7740066.
And that's the number of the cars. Thank you. Quick question, what percentage of the old personnel was retained?
Well, retained since I got here or since all the nonsense?
Just as you
I think 7 or 8 resigned, as far as I know. I don't know the exact number, and 2 have resigned since I've been.
I think the total's 9.
Yeah.
Is there any plans in the future to have a 24/7 force? It always seemed like, my neighbor Layla, I mean, I completely understand, a lot of things happen between midnight and 8 a.m. And thank you for at least getting us to 8 a.m. instead of 10.
Yeah.
But the people parking on the streets or whatever other nonsense is going on, and it just seems to me, we have all these part-timers, so I was always wondering, why don't we do, you know, whatever's possible, but like 3 8-hour shifts, you know, 8 to 4.
That's the thing, I have.
And overnight.
I have, a lot of them are they have full-time jobs, you know, so for them to come and work another 8-hour shift is kind of practical for them. And then I have a lot of retired people that are older that, you know, I'm not gonna come in and do a midnight, you know, midnight to 8.
But aren't there like younger people? I mean, is it, I don't know, is it not paying enough? I just wondered why there just weren't 3.
I think for a part-time job, it pays enough. I could definitely see it, ask if anybody wants to come in earlier, you know? I would just have to justify it, you know?
Is it true that this is, look, we're just starting out with you guys,
Yeah,
right? It's an evolving situation. So if it becomes clear to these guys that we need something between midnight and 8, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, like if you're having a problem, you need some kind of coverage from us, I would say go to the board meetings and let the board know. You know, that's the best way to get action, get you know, signs changed, signs added. You know, that's the best way, because they are my bosses, and then that's the best way. If you have enough of a public outcry on a condition, you know, that could be changed, and we could do it. You know, I mean, I have no problem coming in 4 o'clock. I just can't do it every day. If you give me a day, hey, every Thursday those guys are there, I'll be there at 4 a.m. You know, I just, I need, specific ongoing conditions that I can justify it, and then I have to justify it with activity. That's all. No problem with that.
You had a chance to review, you've been here how long now?
5 weeks.
Okay. I guess you didn't have a chance to, I was gonna say you had a chance to review some of the complaints over the years, that you can actually set up your staffing based on the demand of the community.
I'm still going over that. As far as the building stuff, I haven't seen a lot. I know Friday, Saturday nights it's very busy downtown on Main Street, and that's from my people telling me. So I'm trying to get enough of coverage there, but the problem is if somebody calls, one of my part-time people calls up and says, I can't come in tonight. My wife's sick, my husband's sick, I can't say, no, you gotta come in. I can't, that's the problem, So, but yes, I am aware of a lot of conditions. I don't live in Port Jeff, I live in Bating Hollow, so I'm still learning the area, I'm still learning the roads. There's a lot, I'm trying to get my head wrapped around, but I'll get it.
The security officer, what is the base pay?
I think the ones we're hiring now, it's just around $20, and they're getting another $1 raise, I think, in June, so.
They get benefits too?
No, not part-time.
Not part-time, that's why it's a part-time department.
Go ahead.
Gail, and then
There's no penalty if you call the police like 3 in the morning if you hear kids in your woods behind your house or something. Is there a penalty if
No.
the cops say, oh, what are you bothering us with this?
No.
So you can always
And if
call
a cop says that to you, the next morning you call the precinct and you talk to the commanding
No, I
officer,
just
get his
didn't
name,
know because
and make a complaint.
It didn't seem there would be that much of a problem between.
That's
well,
their job.
I can see her problem, but criminal, most of the time it's just kids doing stuff.
That's their job.
Okay,
That's their job.
so there's no penalty or
No.
Can you talk about the relationship
Hold on,
with the Suffolk County Police?
Just for a
and
moment,
how that's
there was
changed?
a question.
Go ahead.
I can't wait, is that okay, I talk, or would you like to proceed finish?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay, I just want to know what is uniform and the fleet of cars, I know before the constable, they have weird kind of these uniforms.
This is, we're going to the khaki pants and this color shirt. It's gonna, we just created a patch, it's a round patch, it's gonna say Port Jefferson Village Code Enforcement with the village seal in the middle.
What about the vehicles? Are you going to have the same before, like a constable?
I don't think any of the vehicles say constable.
They took constable off.
Yeah,
I know, but
it's
they
just code,
replaced them, right?
just code enforcement.
So they need to have some vehicle. What kind of vehicle would identify?
Same kind of vehicle.
It's the same mark, the vehicles are still there, they're out there marked, yep.
Okay, what about a situation for someone who come to your property, damage your property, who would those be classified?
That's the police.
So it's not
Criminal
by
mischief.
the code enforcement would not have
No. You could call, but we're gonna call the police to make the report,
So
and then
you-
you're kinda losing time in
I see.
the reporting process, you know?
That's why it's so clear that it's so important that it's very clear, when do we call code, when do we call code, right?
Says that if you feel, yeah, if you feel there's a suspicious person around your house, hanging out, looking in your windows, that's a police. They have to come and investigate them, okay?
So this is going into the question that Zena started asking. How did your relationship with the police department change with the 6th precinct?
It hasn't changed. We've met with the precinct personnel, their co-officers a couple times, and they're fine with what we're doing. And, you know, they have, you know, we need them, they told us they'll be there.
As a resident, I will say the change that I have observed is that Suffolk County Police have an enhanced presence now in Fort Jefferson because it is no longer an adversarial relationship between our constables and our police force. Now it's code enforcement and the police. The lines of delineation are very clear, and I think Suffolk County welcomed that.
Yeah, listen, I don't know what was going on here, but as a former cop, me responding to a complaint, a crime in progress, I don't want somebody else that's not a cop backing me up right there. I just need my other cops, my partners and cops backing me up. It's kind of an uncomfortable situation. So that's just, that I could just tell you from past experience, so. But if you're not happy with your police response, go up to they have the precinct CO has his meetings, you know, voice your concern. I know there's a police officer comes once a month to the board meetings, you can always come and say, hey, I have a problem here, and, you know, they'll bring it back to their
And they
commanding
have
officer.
community meetings every month
Yeah.
at the
Yep.
6th, right over
Yep.
there. You can
Yep.
always
Yep.
go there. You don't have to be invited. You can
Yep.
just show up. But to go back, we're coming into our high season right now,
Yep.
which is an increase in volume of people, et cetera, et cetera. In the past, there's been requests for extra coverage by Suffolk County Police, and et cetera, with walking around, patrol cars,
Yep.
zone. Now, will it be up to you, code, or the mayor, who will be asking for this additional help?
I would guess the mayor or the board would ask, but from what my guys have told me, they put out every summer what's called a whiskey team.
Yeah.
And my guys have told me that they're very helpful.
Yes.
And they're out all the time, so, and they're very visible,
We've
so.
also had bicycle guys down here,
Yeah,
bikes down
yeah,
here too,
yeah.
so we're hoping that that type of service will be still provided.
Yeah.
But it has to be asked for, because if you don't ask, you're not.
No, I'll
gonna
make
get it.
sure, yeah, I'll definitely
Yeah.
make the calls as we get into May, yes.
Wonderful. Any other questions?
Yeah, one more.
Yeah.
Will you be giving out, violations or summons based on moving violations?
No, we don't do
Can't do
more.
it.
That's, okay, that's a question.
We don't,
Because you don't have the equipment for it, right?
Not, it's not,
No,
we're not,
It's illegal.
They can't legally.
yeah, but we don't have the authority to pull people over, to pull cars over, and do car stops, you know. And on
But if
top
a
of that,
car
it's
is
a safety
stopped
thing.
and they're playing really, really loud music.
That's a noise
And you
violation.
can time it, that they can come down
That's
with
a
a
noise
decibel
violation.
and register the sound of that,
Yeah.
loudness of that music,
Yeah.
they can give them a ticket.
Code violation, you know,
Right.
illegal rentals,
parked.
overcrowding in a
Right.
house,
You give a
that type of stuff.
Right.
We'll come and investigate. You know, I don't know how many summer rentals you have out here. East Hampton, it was bizarre how much was going on.
Just sort of related, so you would or would not do like a parked car inspection?
That we would do,
Oh,
yeah.
or parked car,
Park,
registration.
yeah. We're not pulling somebody over.
Right, but, so you have to keep your car inspected.
They can't do registrations, they can do
Oh, yeah,
inspections.
just
No,
inspect.
Oh, you can only do inspection?
Yeah, just the inspections.
Just the inspections.
Same thing with the town of Brookhaven safety people, who, by the way, I'm in that lot all the time, and I watch them going up and
Yep.
down, so if your paperwork is not in order, you're gonna get a ticket.
You had a question?
Yes. Is every one of your people work for you, are they trained for medical emergencies to help out until the responders can get there?
They have been trained, and I know we just had a meeting with Port Jeff EMS, and they offered to retrain everybody, or initially train them, as soon as we get a chance, CPR and stop the bleed, I think are the two big trainings, yeah.
So you would still help out? until
Oh, of
emergencies?
course, no, my people aren't gonna be walking by or be laying on the ground. Do they carry an AED? Yeah, yeah, and if they do that, you let me know right away. Do you guys carry an AED? What? You don't, do you carry an We don't carry AED? We have the AEDs in the buildings, in our buildings. You got a question?
What about pollutions coming from outside of village that affect village? For example, one side of Harvard, there's a 3D flashing light, causing a lot of.
Oh my God,
Absolutely.
that's Brookhaven, I think that's Brookhaven.
That would be a Brookhaven problem.
But is it effect for Jefferson, because they're shooting before that.
Well, we have dark skies, don't we? Because it's illuminating
Dark
us like
skies,
crazy.
all lights are supposed to be shielded. I was just reading about the lighting out here, yeah. in the
But
village.
they're affecting us. They have it right on the pier, right on the dock in Cedar Beach, facing us.
Right, that's Brookhaven.
No, that's
Yeah.
not the country club.
That would be Brookhaven Code. If you want to give Brookhaven Code a call.
I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
wow.
So I think the fishermen too, you're talking, I think they bring bright lights to attract the squid. Have you seen that? That's a big thing too.
No, this is a fairly new thing, and they're just shining
Yeah.
from the eastern side toward East Beach, and they are so bright.
Yes.
That would-
I have to put
Is it coming from a
shades on
house?
at night. What's
No,
that?
it's from the marina.
No, from the arena.
But that's the town of Brookhaven. So
Yeah, that would be a call of Brookhaven
But
Code.
is it possible for you guys to coordinate with them, because they actually fight many of the Port residents?
They're bothering us in
Traffic
Port
lights
Jeff.
out of their area, number
Yeah,
one.
but-
Number
yeah,
two, they
okay.
have no jurisdiction.
Yeah, I couldn't write a ticket for that
Two
because that's
things
not
they
in Port
can't
Jeff
do.
Village.
No, it's Brookhaven.
Brookhaven.
Yeah.
Brookhaven, yes.
Brookhaven Code Enforcement. They have a code enforcement. Give them a call and let them know.
It's the light up the fishing docks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's welcome a
Anything else?
newly minted. Coming in, we have an open time right now. Our next meeting would be April. Let me just make sure that it is there. It is April 14th. This will be our General Assembly. We will be reporting about everything that has happened in the last year, giving reports about everything that's happening, having an opportunity for us to hang out. It would be a little mini party with smaller levels of speakers. At the moment, we have an opportunity to hang out, socialize as residents. We need to clear out this place at 8:30.
Just a reminder, please pay the dues.
We invite you to pay the dues. If you are due to do so, please invite your neighbors. The more people come in, the merrier.
Yes.
The more we can actually discuss and address any of the issues that we have. We're looking forward to seeing you again on April 14th at 6:30. And thank you very much for the Port Jefferson Library for hosting us. All right.